Back to EEI Late Night with KJ on EEI.
I guarantee you, Bill Belichick can take some of those top pick draft quarterbacks and have the success with them right now. Mac Jones can't go back to those other teams and have the success he's having right now. So please, I hope that kills this. We got so many ways of trying to take credit away from Bill. That's exactly what I was telling Bill. I said, not on my watch, and I'm stopping this right now.
Yeah, Nick, turn that up. The House of Belichick, WEEI Late Night. It's KJ. Thanks so much for hanging out. 617-779-7937 or the text line 37937. As I was just saying in the first segment, look, despite with all the fanciness and all the things that have changed over the course of football, especially over the last 10, 15 years, don't mess with damn Bill Belichick. And like Michael Irvin was just saying after the post game last night, this and that and this and that and this and that. Look, Bill Belichick sets up a system for one to win. For example, right? Nick LePan, thank you so much for working tonight. I am a huge Led Zeppelin guy. And I remember one point someone tried to argue me off of a ledge about like all these different concerts I had. And they thought I'd gone to all the different concerts like, dude, called MP3s. But Bill Belichick is like Robert Plant and Jimmy Page wrapped in one. You take that away, you got a great drummer, but the drummer's dead. What do you have? You can have some great... Right now, Mac Jones is John Paul Jones. He's the bassist. Look, bro, you're in Led Zeppelin. Just chill. You don't have to play the guitar. You don't have to sing, play the drums. Just run that bass, keep it going. And that's fine. I just mentioned that, look, Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, these guys who average about 230 passing yards a game have won championships because they've had top-notch defenses to support what they did. Not talking about like the Joe Flacco that's playing this week because Mike White now really officially sucks. But I'm talking about when you have a stellar defense. And keep in mind, Bill has been able to pretty much mass produce stellar defenses, minus last year. Last year was kind of an abomination, especially against the run. It's totally different now. There's nothing wrong with admitting that Mac Jones' success is most likely going to be tied to Bill Belichick. I think you could even say, look, if Jimmy G was still here, you would see the same type of success and not an additional. Jimmy wouldn't be slinging for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns a game in the air. It wouldn't have been the case. It'd be the same thing. It's just that Mac is being able to do it at an earlier stage. The only question that will come up down the line is, will this bother Mac enough and his representatives that when it comes time to re-sign or pick up or want to shop for deals, does he want to prove that he can be the man, a la like a Matt Stafford, right? Where Matt Stafford is showing, bro, you didn't have a run game in Detroit. You don't have a run game in Los Angeles. Things are happening that are not necessarily good. It's just funny how, like, when people get away from running the ball, they don't realize how science works. Ask the defense. Defense, it's much easier to defend when you don't have to run into people. And on the offensive line, it's much easier to play the game and move the ball forward when you get to push people. Just look at the run and the last Super Bowl champions. And when I saw this, I was like, wow, this is totally amazing. So, look, even if you're a team that didn't run the ball in the regular season, you ended up running the ball to win the championship. Tampa, who ran the ball for nothing last year, in the postseason, they had more than 100 yards in all 3 of their games. 2019 Chiefs, they finished 23rd in rushing. Ran for over 100 yards in 3 of the 4 playoff games in 2019. Won the Super Bowl. Patriots ran the ball in 18. Eagles were 3rd in the league in 17. Pats in 2016 were 7th in the league. And the 2015 Broncos, who were horrible at running the ball, averaged 98 yards per game on their way to the Super Bowl in the playoffs. You have to run the ball. You have to. And the good thing about Mac Jones is that he's realizing that he is with a top-notch organization. He doesn't have to be the man. That's already Bill. And as he mentions here, he's working with a great group of guys.
We have a great group of guys, and early on, you're just trying to figure your way out with, me in there, and I'm trying to learn as best I can, but these guys have all played tons of football, and I trust everybody on our offense, and I feel like I can play better to, help them too. So they've done a great job all year staying positive, and we all believe in each other, and that's the most important part. It's the best team sport there is, and I think our offensive unit really has that family feel to it, and we love each other, and we play together, and we play for each other, so we just have to keep doing that.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking, why does he sound like one of the guys in the movie Porky's? Now, to tell you, I did not go to the movie to see Porky's. I was a little kid. But I was one of those latchkey kids that was like, oh, HBO, Dad is at work at the plant. Oh, what? It's rated R, and I'm 10? This is great. And I'm taking this from the purpose of how some of the other parts of the country are looking at it. Because I get the text messages. I got a text message from my college buddy in Atlanta. He said, Patriots by 30, it looks like. I said, oh, no, the Patriots going to manage the game, that they're not going to lose by 30, but it was close. But a lot of them don't like this narrative of the happy-go-lucky, shucks, Andy Griffith type, oh boy is me, I'm so happy to be here. It kind of pokes the bear for a lot of people and a lot of other teams. And you know why? Because a lot of other teams suck. They do. Their prayers were that the Patriots would be bad for 10 years. Great for 20. They just wanted to see this misery inside of this social media, ready to create a meme that makes you no money at home. Don't get me started on social media, folks. But people are ready to see the demise of the Patriots, and not just yet, my friend. Don't mess with Bill. Nicholas, man, you could probably start singing that song when you go home tonight. Don't mess with Bill. You gonna sing that when you go home?
No, I'm not.
Try it. That's how you get older women. Well, look, in the last 10 years, Belichick has not been coach of the year in the last 10 years. And that's kind of like, all right, really? This is like Jordan in 96 losing to Karl Malone, the MVP, as Karl Malone is losing to Jordan in the finals. Like, really? The last 10 years. Jim Harbaugh, Bruce Arians, who was filling in for Chuck Pagano, Ron Rivera wins it twice. Bruce Arians wins it again with Arizona. Jason Garrett, Sean McVay, Matt Nagy, and Kevin Stefanski, all coaches of the year since Bill last won coach of the year. Is that not a joke? Harbaugh's not even in the league. Arians, okay, you can understand it's developing. Rivera, solid coach. Jason Garrett, Sean McVay is still chewing on those 3 pieces of lettuce from the Super Bowl. Matt Nagy, yeah, will he be coaching the Bears next year? And Stefanski, he got problems now. And he just won it last year. The disrespect for Bill Belichick's greatness is just permeated all over football. And it's time he can reclaim his story. So, yeah, Bill the GM, so he's whiffed. It hasn't cost the franchise years upon years. Ask the Chargers how many years it took them to rebuild their franchise after Ryan Leaf showed up and Eli Manning said no. And they let Drew Brees go. So every team does not have the advantage of a Bill Belichick making some kind of rather low mistakes. I mean, people are like, well, look at Sony Michel, first-round bust. That's the end of the first round. His face was not on tickets, commercials to sell the franchise. Please come to our games. But Bill, the coach, cannot be touched. What you saw last night on the defensive end of the ball was just absolute beauty. Absolute beauty. I've said it since the beginning of the season that it's no longer a Tom versus Bill thing, that it was Bill versus Bill. It was Bill having to stand in the mirror and make it count for himself. That, hey, you were fortunate to find a diamond in the rough, but I thought Tom Brady was great at Michigan. I did. That diamond in the rough ended up becoming the savior of the world. And now people are looking at you and saying, well, if it wasn't because of the savior that you found, you wouldn't be who you are today. And so if there's going to be that excitement for Mac Jones, give Bill his flowers at the same time and say, you know what, Bill? You've come through. I know that's tough for some people to say. New England's not a very forgiving place. You did me wrong, and I will let you know through my grandkids are living. But Bill is doing all right looking in the mirror right now as it stands. If you said 5 weeks ago this team would be the top-seeded wild card, I would say, did teams get disqualified from the league? But here they are. And now a real conversation over these next 3 games could be discussing, hey, Buffalo, you're in trouble. So I mentioned not too long ago, maybe about 15 minutes ago, about December 6th, the Monday night game at Buffalo. Buffalo doesn't run the ball. It's very conceited. I talked about this last Friday when I was here. It's one of these new jacks that like we can throw the ball everywhere. Well, thanks to the old man, Benjamin Banneker, I can see the forecast for a month. It's supposed to rain December 4th, 5th, 6th, and into the 7th. So an 8 o'clock game in Buffalo where it's been raining for the previous 4 days, you know what the temperatures are going to be? In the low 30s. Don't mess with Bill. It's going to be a beautiful night and I'm committing the biggest sin. I'm looking past Tennessee. That's not what I'm trying to do, but to let you know that if the focus is on Buffalo and you literally have them in sights, Buffalo is in trouble, despite what they may do once they get up to this game on December 6th. Mike Lombardi was on Maloney and Fourier talking about the prep that the Patriots have to do for these next 3 games with the Titans, the Bills, and the Colts.
I think the most important thing is to have a great Wednesday practice and Thursday and Friday and go out and just play Tennessee and beat them because they'll know how to play Buffalo. They played Buffalo well last year, especially in Buffalo, and they'll have a good game plan. And then they just got to protect the football. They can't beat themselves when they play better, when they play teams that are on the same level or better than them. They can't. And they have to play smart, and they have to play complementary football. Last night, they got away with a lot last night. Penalties in the kicking game, inexcusable. Can't have those. Cost them a ton of field position. There was a lot of hidden yards last night that they got away with because Atlanta really wasn't physical enough to play a game with them. But I think what they have to keep doing is play physical, practice physical. The more physical you are in November, December, the more games you're going to win.
Like December 6th. Rain in the forecast. In Buffalo. December 7th, the low, which the game could probably go into 11 o'clock, 11:30 that night. You're looking somewhere around 32, 33 degrees with rain. And any science teacher will tell you that could be ice. Ooh, how pretty. Ooh, Nick LePan, can you see Ramondre Stevenson just running over people? Like it would be like running backs on ice.
Oh, the two-headed monster? Yeah, they can go out there and pound the ball. It is the Bills' defense, though, and they have a very good defense, but...
Yeah, but you put it on ice. See what happens. Well, you're a little bit colder in the sleeve. Man, I should have wore longer sleeps.
No sleeves in the snow. Come on.
Yeah,
now.
well, but you might not be as motivated. I'm talking about like safeties have to come and run, help with the run.
If you're not motivated to play snow football, you're playing the wrong sport.
Well, that's not necessarily true. You might be motivated because your mortgage or your third mortgage has come due. You say sometimes when you get so rich, charity becomes a 6th car. It's true. Sometimes, you've made it this far, all those pop water games and 2-a-day practices. Now you're in the snow and you're like, if we lose this game, it's not like we won't be in the playoffs. We'll see them again in a couple of weeks. Maybe we don't show them everything. And it may not be as bad down in Foxborough 2 weeks later. Yeah. So when it comes to this Patriots team, let's just call it what it is. This is what Bill Belichick has always envisioned in terms of control of the team and giving his quarterback all the tools necessary without going out of their own frame to do so. I worry a little bit about Josh McDaniels. I don't know if I would hand over the reins to the prodigal son. But when it comes to making sure that the ball is run and the defense is played, I mean, Bill is the guy. I mean, look at it this way from a musical standpoint. Like, Gene Simmons is a clown unless he's in the group Kiss. You don't think it's any irony that Steven Tyler waited like 45 years to do a solo album? There's something special about standing next to Joe singing Love in an Elevator. You know, Run DMC never replaced or added a guy. It's not Run DMC and Joe. Well, it was. Well, one of them's name's Joe. It's not Run DMC and Steve. And there was never an Eric B. and Greg after things didn't work out with Eric B. and Rakim. So, in other words, the Patriots' identity is always going to be tied to Bill Belichick and that defense. But with these 3 games coming up, Mac Jones, I think, and it's going to be good for him, is going to face adversity from really good teams. And Julian Edelman was talking about what he thinks he wants to see from Mac Jones if that happens.
In true Julian Edelman fashion, like, I want to see him banged up a little so that see what he can overcome.
You want to see the toughness of a guy. We're seeing how, you know, he can take in the offense and he can be an efficient quarterback. But there's going to be times where, you know, it's not always sunny. And they're going on a 4-game winning streak, looking to be 5 here. You need to see. I want to see him that last bit to see if he's your guy, which he's their guy. But I want to see something go wrong, and I want to see the man he is in an adverse situation. Mm-hmm. Like, that's when you see your best leaders. That's when, you know, the Tom Brady's. I mean, I only know him, but like
Jimmy Garoppolo,
Tom Brady's, you know, when he goes out in any situation, when we were down a certain amount of points, like you saw like a laser focus in his eye, and I want to see it. I mean, everything looks great right now. He's looking like a really good quarterback. He's taking in the offense. He plays on time.
Yeah, Jules, that does sound like a separated shoulder you're asking for, and we don't want to see that with the rookie. And this is why I say, don't mess with Bill, because Bill is making sure that he doesn't put his young quarterback in a situation or in a box where he has to do too much. I think we've already kind of seen a bit of that adversity in the Dallas game where the mistake was made and corrected immediately, and that earned Mac a lot of respect, including mine. All right, late night here with KJ on WEEI, 617-779-7937. We play the Squid Games next where, yes, there's a 5-item parlay inside of a game that could win you over $4 million. That's next.